Hello, Albion here. So I have a story to tell, a magical story. Let's put this here. Okay, and maybe definitely turn this down because that's closer than it normally is. Okay, so I have a story to tell, a magical story, one of pain and suffering, and $15 and more pain. This is the story of how me, a person who loves Final Fantasy 14, played WoW for a month. I know. It's just, it's interesting. Um but yeah, I the last month I basically spent playing WoW, giving it a second shot, another shot. Partially because the person, one of my family members that got into Final Fantasy 14, he was already into WoW. And as a kind of payback kind of thing deal where he played Final Fantasy, I decided, okay, I'll play WoW with him. And so I spent a month playing WoW. Not Shadowlands. No, no. I didn't get the I was too I am still too broke to get Shadowlands. I'd probably honestly I'd probably do let me just move this over here. Or no, it's fine right here. I don't know where to put this microphone without going batshit insane on the little meter. I'm trying to at least be heard. Anyway, so fuck. I I would probably have pushed this video if I actually was able to afford it, or other reasons that I'm not going to get into. Um, I probably would have done more or waited a bit on this video, still playing WoW, and if I could afford it, gotten Shadowlands or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. Anyway, but let me start off by explaining my history with MMOs. Um, my I don't need these. Why do I have these on? I don't need these. I'm recording a video. I'm not listening to anything. My first my first MMO that I played was the DC Universe Online because it was on console. It was on PlayStation 3. And honestly, it was my first. I wasn't fully aware of how MMOs work in terms of, oh, you are uh you do this, the main meat of it isn't the leveling or whatever you're doing to level, it's the post game. That I wasn't used to that because most of the games I played up to then were just regular RPGs or JRPGs. I had not played a MMO or actually gotten really into an MMO. So DCEU, no, not DCEU, DCUO was my first experience with an MMO, and I liked it. It was fine. It I might go. Is that thing still going? This is a quick Google search to find out if DC Universe Online is still a thing on the PS3. Huh. Cool. Well, it's still going on, not PS3, but it's still going. Cool. That's surprising. Anyway, so yeah, no, DCUO was my first foray into the MMO genre. And like I said, I didn't really get the concept of what MMO was. My second experience with MMOs was probably Star Wars: The Old Republic. That one I got more into, but that's actually more story based than anything else. I didn't get like post game, and I should say this with DC Universe Online, I did get one point where I got a character to max level, but I didn't really do much after that because I didn't understand. Oh, now this is what we're supposed to do. Again, I didn't understand or comprehend all this. And again, I was what? I was a teenager, I guess. I don't know. So Star Wars Knights of the not Knights. Star Wars: The Old Republic, SWTOR, was the second MMO I played. I enjoyed it. I got more into it than I did DC Universe Online. I never got to max level, but I did enjoy it. Wonderfully explains why the rule of two needed to exist. One of my characters was a Sith. Turn that down a bit. Let's see if that worked. Oh, that might have actually worked. One of my characters was a Sith, not Inquisitor. It's basically the equivalent of what Palpatine is, where the they focus, instead of lightsaber skills, they focus more on the Force powers. That one, like, you get through at least the first starting six or seven missions, or to the point where you start getting to a point where you can go off the starting world, and you become someone's apprentice, and she literally goes, okay, you're my apprentice now. And then her master comes in, and she's like, and after he leaves, behind his back, she's going, you and me will kill him and take over his powers. And you're just like, yeah, this is why the rule of two happened. Okay. This explains a lot. But yeah, so I did do a Sith. I'll say Inquisitor. I don't think it's an Inquisitor, but whatever. And then my main was a Jedi Knight. But I did get into it more. I didn't get too far, but I did get into it more. I enjoyed it more. And then from then, I didn't really play too many MMOs. I wasn't like a big PC player. I'm still not a computer player, PC gamer. But I'll play them more than I used to. Anyway, so the MMO that really got me into MMOs was Final Fantasy. They were... This is back when... So this is before Heaven's Ward. So I found out that they were announcing this MMO on PlayStation 3. Yes. That's when I started. Way back when. And I was like, okay, sure, I like Final Fantasy. I'll give it a try. And I played... I ended up getting it. I played for a bit, and I got hooked. I enjoyed it. So, my thing with Final Fantasy was... And let me put this down. I stretched the back. Okay. My thing with Final Fantasy was that I have OCD to an extreme. Even now, when I'm playing Final Fantasy, I have OCD. It's this need to get everything every job, not gathering crafting, but the fighting jobs, get them all to the max level. But back then, I at least got them to say 15. Let's say, yeah, it was like 15 because that's what was required for a secondary class. Because this was that long ago. This is when you needed a secondary class to get to 15 in order to unlock the job for whatever you were maining. And I started off as a archer. Got to, I think, like 12 or 15. I think it was like 12. It's somewhere around there where when they let you like change classes. And I was like, you know what, I'm getting tired of playing as this bard or as this archer. This was also before rogue was a thing. So this is before there were no rogues, there were no ninjas. It was just the starting shit for Realm Reborn. Um I I got tired of Archer, so I ended up becoming Thaumaturge, and I actually did get that one far enough to become. I got to 30. I ended up, and I was like, okay, now I have to do Arcanist to level 15, and become a Black Mage, and I think that's what kind of started the whole get everything to 15. But I did get Black Mage up to I think 30 something, 31. Yeah, it was like 30, 31, somewhere around there. So I had started off Black Mage, and I was like, you know what? I'm a little tired of Black Mage. Let me change. And I ended up trying out all the classes and seeing which ones I liked, and getting them all at least to 15, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I ended up sticking with Lancer and turned Dragoon, and I mained Dragoon for all of Realm Reborn, and then I hit the wall of OCD. But for a different reason. OCD for an entirely different reason. Anyway, so Final Fantasy was the first MMO I really got into, that I learned how this is kind of how MMOs work. This is how story stuff kind of works. This is how MMOs are, what you're kind of supposed to do in an MMO. So I played Final Fantasy for let's say, because I first tried WoW 3 years ago, three about 3 or 4 years ago is when I first tried WoW and actually paid for a month or something. I don't know, but I did try it for a bit, but I didn't get into it. And actually, I think, what was 3 or 4 years ago? Was that Battle for Azoroth? I might have explained it. I get into the game at the horrible times. Anyway, so 3 or 4 years ago, I tried. I couldn't really get into it. And one of the reasons is still something I don't like about it, honestly. It's one of the things I don't really enjoy about WoW. And this is just because of me as someone who's really gone into Final Fantasy. So it's really probably just a personal thing. I don't know. But it's a thing. But I didn't really get into WoW. I couldn't. There wasn't there wasn't like a, how do I put this? There was a connection. I didn't have anyone to play with. I just kind of did things. I was just kind of doing the starting stuff to figure out what classes I liked. And I didn't really enjoy it. And my, so Blizzard and me have a very special relationship, as in, I didn't really pay attention to them existing for the longest time. I know, it's weird. I didn't really pay attention to them existing. I didn't really deal with them. I think my first game from that I played that was a Blizzard game was my friend Corey getting me into StarCraft 2. So, yeah. And then after that, I played Diablo 3. I like Diablo 3. I'm fingers crossed for how Diablo 4 turns out. I had no faith in Diablo Immortals. But fingers crossed for Diablo 4. That might be a horrible, horrible, horrible bad luck. But shit, still, we'll see. But Diablo, I played Overwatch. I have Overwatch. I do not care for Overwatch. I know I'm one of I didn't care for Overwatch when it launched. That's how much I do not care for Overwatch. Anyway, so I'm not but there's this thing about Blizzard that I always notice, and it's this thing where they design something to look pretty and look nice and be aesthetic and artistic, and gameplay, and if it works as gameplay, comes in a distant second or third, where they will design a level, design some place, and don't really expect you to go, oh, they don't really design it in a way where where it looks like they had gameplay in mind. My first foray into WoW, the fact that it took me 4 or 5 minutes to walk from one tiny little starting spot in as a human paladin to a tiny little village halfway across this tiny little section of the map to continue on this story stuff annoyed me horribly. Anyway, yeah, I didn't get into it. I didn't enjoy it. Well, so last month I got roped into playing it again. This time I was like, okay, let me at least figure out a class that I will like. I chose Demon Hunter, which required me to actually get a class to level 10 first. So for that first level 10, I chose Rogue. Rogue scarred me. Like, I had some Final Fantasy PTSD from Rogue. Like, stamina meter, HP, TP, like TP shit from Final Fantasy 14. Anyway, so I got to level 10. I got Demon Hunter, and I started leveling it up. I got to the max level you can get, but without Shadowlands, which is now 50. I'll get onto that. I'll get to that in a minute. And it was just basically going around trying to hunt mounts and other things. I had fun. I enjoyed it. It's. I didn't get in. I don't think I'll get into. I got into it as much as Final Fantasy, and I definitely didn't get hooked as Final Fantasy. It's one of those things that every now and again I might go, okay, I might get a subscription. It's not like a new expansion, I need to get a subscription. No, it's definitely not that. Like Final Fantasy, the new patch is coming up. Hopefully, I can afford to get a month for that. I'll do it for a patch. For Final Fantasy, I'll do it for a patch. I'll do it for an expansion. I'm there for it. WoW, I might play about 2 or 3 months after Dragonflight comes out. I might get Dragonflight, maybe. No, I'll get Dragonflight 2 or 3 months because I don't want to deal with the stuff I'm dealing with now. But it's okay. And WoW's, I think it's just because of who I play with, and also the fact that I'm doing content that's. I didn't really touch Battle for Azeroth, honestly. Even though it was like the highest area stuff I could do, I barely touched it. I focus because of Demon Hunter. I ended up staying a lot of time in uh, Burning Crusade, not Burning Crusade, Legion, Burning Legion. I ended up staying a lot of time in Legion, the Legion area, the Shattered Isle, and for and spent a lot of time in Pandaria. The family member that got me into playing, that got me playing, he misunderstood how to get a certain mount, so I explored all of like the Eastern Isle continent, and the Western continent. That at least got me 5 levels, so I'm not 100% upset at that, but he misunderstood. Oh, and then also Outlands. So yeah, great, thanks. Thanks. That was a pain. That wasn't the biggest pain. I have a story for that. Anyway, so yeah, the reason, and to get back onto something else, I said I'll get to in a minute. The When I say the max level for Battle for Azeroth is 50, it's that leads to another point. Apparently, recently Blizzard also did like Final Fantasy, where they shrank the numbers. They to because I guess the numbers got too big for the servers. But Blizzard did a different thing, where Square and Final Fantasy, they just kind of made the stat numbers or whatever numbers that show up smaller, like HP, damage, whatever. They just made them slightly smaller and didn't really change anything else. Blizzard decided that instead of level, what was it? I think it was like 120, 130, somewhere around there. Instead of like being level 130 or 140 or something, the max level is going to be 60 for Shadowlands. Meaning they crunched like, let's see, the original Burning Crusade, Lich King, Cataclysm, Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion, and Battle of Azeroth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They crammed eight different things of leveling content down and crunched it into like 50 levels. And so there's points where and then they made it so that each area has a minimum level to and then a max level. So like the starting areas start off at level 1, but their max level is 30. So after you reach 30, every level after that means you're getting stronger than whatever the enemies are. But between that, all the enemies are at your level. That's fine. It gives you chances to do the other older content. I don't know. I don't feel like that, because you still level up. You level up pretty quickly. So if you were doing the content for, say, Burning Crusade, that's like 5 levels based on how they set everything up. That's like 5 to 10 levels. I think that technically is like 20 to 30. 20 to 30? No, I think it's like 15 to 25. Yeah, 15 to 25 maybe, or 20 to 25. somewhere, I think it's like 20 to 25. It's like somewhere around there is everything Burning Crusade. It still says 30, but it's like technically, I'm guessing if you were to go by that stuff, it's like 20 to 25, 20 to 30, somewhere around there is like all the stuff in Burning Crusade, and then Lich King is like everything from 25 to 30. Everything for Cataclysm is like 30 to 35. Pandar and Pandaria is in there too with 30 to 35. So they actually ended up crunching it down so that two different expansions are right on top of each other with their content. So you can just like skip chunks and chunks and chunks and be entirely lost. But to be fair, the story doesn't really matter in WoW. It doesn't. I did not pay attention. I know that I'm the champion at some point. And at other points, I'm just being introduced to the king as random person number 8,999. Or whatever number I'm at. I am. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a weird thing that I don't know. The other thing about WoW is, I guess it's the way me and the family member play. I kind of like it this way. We don't go to like raids because of we want best in slot. We don't go in there for loot. We do go into loot. We go for the mounts and we try and get mounts. By the way, we had some bad moments trying to do some of the raid achievements. WoW is a lot more focused on achievements than Final Fantasy. And in some raids, a lot of raids have like extra little mini achievements for the bosses in the raid to do some side thing. Oh my god. Some of those are so bad, are so annoying, and so specific. Like, one of them, I think it was like Warlords of Draenor. We were trying to do, I think it was like the last dungeon of Warlords of Draenor. And the last raid of Warlords of Draenor. And it's like the third. No. 1, 2, 3. It's like the fourth or fifth boss. Third. It's somewhere around there. It's basically the Soul Eater thing. And to get its achievement, one character has to die during the boss fight. Get sucked into the creature. Kill 3 things and then get out in a certain amount of time. I should not have volunteered for that because, by God, a melee character trying to kill these 3 things that are like all the way across the arena of this dude's stomach was not great, and I died both times. Anyway, so we didn't get the achievement. There's another one that required us to like get a certain amount. There are several that require you to get like certain amount of certain enemies. Some of them aren't bad. One in that one was like we couldn't do because we needed a class that can actually like freeze or root without doing damage. He's a warlock. I'm a demon hunter. Neither of us have that. So yeah, that was not great. That the being eaten one that traumatized us a bit. That's going to haunt us for a while. There are some others like catching a golden egg that drops after like 20 seconds into the boss fight. And you're just like, why? Why would you do this? But yeah, no. Some of those achievements are just like, why? But yeah, no. We basically just mount hunt. I'm purely happy to just mount hunt in that game, not care a shit flying fuck about the content or whatever other than just mount hunting, mount collecting. I guess that's the better way to play WoW or to experience WoW, not care. Just go in, don't care, and just, say fuck it. I'm getting this, I'm going for a mount, or I'm doing this, I'm just fucking around. It's not a great way to think about a game, but it's a way. One of the mounts I did get is called Lucid Nightmare. If you know what that is, you know my pain. For those of you who don't know what it is, for those of you who've only played Final Fantasy, who have never heard of this, I heard of it because the family member did. It took him and my sister. He's technically my stepdad. So it took him and my sister 3 hours to do the last step of that. Cool. It's not even a quest. So for those of you who don't know, the Lucid Nightmare is a horse mount. It's a black nightmare horse, okay? Unicorn kind of thing. In order to do it, you have to do this puzzle quest. The problem is, it's not counted as a quest. The game doesn't record where you're at in the quest. It doesn't record what steps you've done. You just have to kind of say, okay, I've done this, or know what you have done. So you start off in one of the cities. You find this one random note in this city, in this random spot. It's not random, but it's this one spot in the city. This note is there. You click it, read it. It's a puzzle. It's yeah, go to blah, 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 and you're going, what? Thank God for the internet, because I never would have solved any of these. Some of the one of them I probably could have because of what it was, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So it's basically telling you, go to this boss room in this specific raid, an entirely different expansion, entirely different expansion. And you go to this thing, and there's this hidden switch in this junk pile. You flip the switch, a bunch of light bulbs show up, and you're supposed to make a pattern with the light bulbs on the ground. This is I want to say, not 10, it's 14 by 15. Let's say about 15 by 15. Square of light bulbs that you have to make basically into the asterisk sign, the little star, with no help whatsoever. You have no idea you're supposed to turn it into this. If you are told, I didn't see it. I had a guide for a lot of this. I think the only thing the guide can't help is the last step. But you do that, it gives you another little scroll. Read it, gives you another hint. You're sent to another raid. You go to this raid again in another continent, because of course I got lucky. All the raids that it sent me to I had done in that week before, so it's oh, thank God I don't have to kill the bosses again. Raids are a weekly lockout, so that's great, and it takes forever to get to bosses. There's a lot I could go on to with WoW, but this video would take forever to do, and my voice is going out, so I'm not. But I'm going to tell this story because, by God damn it, I started it, and I need to tell this story to someone other than Rebel Queen. Anyway, so you get to the raid, you get to right before the final boss, you find this little fucking scarab that spawned now on this one little area that you don't even go to. You click it, and you're like, what's this in front of my face now? So you have to zoom in to get to basically first person view and realize it's a matching game. It's a match 3 game. And you start playing the match 3 game, and you're like, how long does this take? What am I supposed to do? I had to thank God I had a guide, because I never would figure this out. Basically, you had to get 3 of this one, no, not 3. You had to get 5 of this one. You had to get 5 in a row of this one specific icon on the match 3. I never would figure that one out. Anyway, you do it. It gives you another little scroll, sends you somewhere else. Where we step three, three of like 6 or 7. Yeah, sends you somewhere else. I think this one's a dungeon. Yeah, this one's a dungeon. No, no, this isn't a dungeon. This isn't the dungeon. So after the match 3, was it the dungeon or was it the cave? I'll say it's the dungeon. It might have been the cave, but I'll say it's the dungeon. It sends you to a dungeon. It's like the starting dungeon for the gnomes. And you get into it, and you're supposed to get to this one specific spot. And on the wall, there's a plaque. And underneath the plaque is these little machines that have levers. The plaque reads in binary code. This is like the one thing I probably could have solved. Not because I can read binary code, but because I know what binary code looks like, and I could have easily just typed Google search, what does 10001 and just dealt with that way. Anyway, so basically it's giving you the code for the little lever things below it. They have to go one by one, and not even dial. You have to hit a lever up or down to make it the number count go up or down. They all start at 1. You can't like hit down while it's at 1 to make it go to 9. It's all you have to like just keep hitting up, up, up. Okay, so it. That's not even the worst part. The next part was they send you to a cave. And like I think the final area, one of the final areas of a different expansion. Of course. And you have to find this random hole in the ground. It's not even a hole. It's like a clickable fissure or something. It's like it looks like a pile of dirt with a crack in it. And you're supposed to click on it, go down, and then when you get down, click on it, you jump in, and there's like a skull on a chair, and it gives you another clue, an anagram. I hate anagrams. Yeah, anagrams. I hate those. It puts a skull on a chair. You click on it, gives you an anagram. The skull's telling you need a certain very specific headband, scarf thing. You need to interact with the skull with a very specific scarf. So, I did not have the scarf, so I had to go, buy it, come back. Gives me the next step. So, the last step, I think this was the last step. The last step of this whole thing is in Pandaria. It's a maze. A randomly generated maze that wraps around itself in a way that if you were like to draw it on a 2D piece of paper, there you'd have like warp zones at the top. So it's like an 8x8 maze of squares, and you'd have to draw like warp zones at the top of these, at the top 4, the bottom 4, or the top left 4, top right 4, bottom left 4, bottom right 4, right top 4, right bottom 4, right left top 4, left bottom 4, and they do not connect like the way you think. They like flip and whatever. And you can't like leave the maze and come back the next day because the maze resets and it changes every day. So no one knows what the maze looks like for everybody's different. This is the thing that took my stepdad and my sister 3 hours. Took them 3 hours to do that. He had me time myself to find out how long it took me. It took me an hour and 8 minutes that was like an hour and 8 minutes of me just. I had a kind of thing. Anyway, whatever. I had a sort of method to the madness, but yeah, it was a thing. And then they send you to this one area in this one crypt, and the starting area in. They send you to another place. Of course they do. After you solve everything. Oh, and by the way, in the maze, you're supposed to get these orbs and take them to the same colored runes. Purple, red, yellow, blue, green. 5 orbs, 5 runes. Problem. The orbs and runes disappear when you match them together. So, if you found the red, let's say you found the red orb, and then you find the red rune, both those spots disappear. So if you're just like randomly searching through to try and find something a familiar spot, those familiar spots are now, you don't know if you've been there or not. Yeah, so it's like aimless wandering. It gets so much worse when it's like the last rune. I think I got a little lucky because the green and yellow rune, A, they were right next to each other, and B, they were after like a long stretch of just a straight line. So I could tell it was like south, like 6 or 7 times south would get me to the green rune. So I got lucky on that part. I figured if I got to a part where I had to go south, like was forced that the only path was south for like about 4 or 5 times, I was close to the green rune. Anyway, so that took me about an hour and 8 minutes. Hour 8 minutes. It sends me to a new spot. It's this crypts in an overworld or whatever. By that point, I was tired. I didn't care. I just wanted the fucking horse. I got the horse, flew it a bit, turned off the game. I think I turned off. I don't know. I might have played a bit more, but no. That was the thing. And the entire time I was doing that, I was just going, "Who does this to their players? Why would you do this to your players?" Oh, that's another thing. So because I was going through like old content, and I also went through some of the Battle of Azoroth dungeons in Dungeon Finder in Party Finder just to level up. There's a distinction. You can tell the difference between like old Blizzard and current Blizzard. I don't know exactly when it happened, but a lot of the designs for some of the older shit was great, and the new designs will typically be 50-50, if at best, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, WoW's a creature. I don't know how to describe it other than that. And I know this video has been like about 30 minutes of me rambling on about the weird shit, or 20 to 30 minutes of me rambling on about the weird shit about WoW, and me still saying, well, I'll still play it. Yeah, I know, I'll still play it because why the hell not? But WoW is a creature that I don't know how to put. It is something that is it's like a beautiful train wreck. A beautiful train wreck. That's probably my nicest way to put it. One of those, it's a horrible monstrosity. You feel sorry for people, but you just have to watch. Like, what is this glorious monstrosity of a thing that's happening? I don't know. But yeah, so that's been my month experience of WoW as a Final Fantasy player. yeah, I'll still play WoW. I'm not going to get like in depth into it. I'm not like, oh my god, the next expansion. I'm keeping. It's a thing. I just don't know what else to say. I've it's it's a creature. It is a it is a beautiful train wreck. That is honestly the only thing, the best way I can summarize it. Oh, and did I come across any? No, I didn't deal with people enough to get the toxicity. I didn't deal with the people enough because I didn't do Shadowlands. So I was in like older shit anyway. That I could after I got to like 50, I could solo most of it, and I didn't have to deal with it. And it was just me and my stepdad just killing everything. So I didn't deal with a lot of people or their toxicity. So I'm not too concerned by it. So I didn't not concerned. I didn't deal with it. I didn't get too much of an interaction. There was a few times. I think there was like one or two dungeons where someone, where we died or something, and the raid just kind of gave the group for the dungeon just kind of gave up and started leaving. So, or one or two left. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a thing. Um. So yeah, I just thought tell you this weird story, this thing that I had done in the last month, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do, but God, do I miss Final Fantasy? Oh, anyway, that's my tale. That's my month long experience. I oh no, there's one more thing. So yeah, I the other thing that gets me that I guess turned me off that first time is because I'm used to in Final Fantasy where you can actually have every class or every job with one character, and while you have to have alts. So I have a few alts. I don't think any. I think most of them are at least I at least got to 10. I think there was like one or two I didn't get to 10. But yeah. So I've played a few other classes. Mage is okay. I've done a bit of Warlock. It's okay. I've done a bit of Paladin. It's okay. I still like Demon Hunter is still my main. But yeah, so anyway, that's before my mind goes, what about this? What about this? That's my tale. That's my story. That's my experience with WoW so far. Uh, Later on, after me and Rebel Queen can stream again or get together for some shit again, I'll after I move or whatever, I'll I'm definitely going to get her into Final Fantasy. So me and her will probably stream that. But yeah, no, it's and she wants to play that one, so that's fine. I might go. Well, okay, try this. Just try it. See, you need to experience this mayhem, this creature for yourself, and what the hell's going on. And by then, Dragonflight will definitely be out, and probably whatever the next expansion is, if there's a next expansion. Who knows? Maybe WoW might actually die. I don't know. It's a thing. Anyway, thanks so much for if you're still here. Thanks so much for staying through this long, ranty, headache-induced rambling of a video. I by God. Anyway, um yeah, just thanks for if you're still here. Thanks, honestly, just thanks for listening. Thanks for I know. Um, I'm I'm still streaming. I stream usually a about 11:30, 11 to midnight, 11:30. Usually about midnight is when I start, and I usually go until like 4 to 6. I'm trying to extend how long I stream a bit longer. And I usually keep up with my. I usually announce if I'm not going to stream or whatever on Twitter. So whatever. But I do stream. I'll all the my past streams I put on a. There's my channel on here. The just Albion Loxley is a stream archive of all my streams. There will be the stream archive for when me and Rebel Queen can get together again to stream. It's the stream archive, basically. That is my channel. That is the channel. Um, and uh, so I do stream. I'm currently flipping between uh, Persona 5 Royal because I wanted to replay that, and Yakuza 0 because I wanted to replay that. Um, I might do every now and again if I just, you know what, I'm like going, you know what, screw it. Let's do something. I'll do like a variety stream, or I'll just where I just play a bunch of different games for a few hours or something, and then switch between something else. One of the things on the stream archive, I literally made a make your own wheel and let the wheel go, and I just called it the wheel of morality. It was a thing, yeah. So anyway, thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for watching. If you're still here, thank you so much. Please subscribe to us. We really appreciate it. We're trying. We're trying hard. I'm trying. We are trying. We're all trying. But anyway, thanks so much. I'm done. I'm good. Peace. Peace. There you go. That's the sign. There you go. Enjoy. Have fun. Bye.